Hey YouTube, I'm SCP Explained, and this is also SCP Explained. Before we get into today's story, go ahead and smash that like button and ring the bell to be notified every time one of our epic videos hits your subscription feed. And don't forget to share this video with everyone you know, friends, family members, pets, and even the sweaty guy at the bus stop. Alright, that's more than enough pandering to the algorithm for one video. Or is it? Because today we'll be talking about another one of Dr. Bright's many misadventures. For those of you who don't know, and if you don't, I'm wondering why you clicked on this video, Dr. Jack Bright is one of the most chaotic and unpredictable researchers working at the Foundation. His status as an immortal consciousness means that even his most harebrained schemes rarely have lasting consequences for the man himself. The same cannot be said about the amount of collateral damage those same schemes cause, mind you. And quite recently, Dr. Bright decided to attempt one of the most dangerous and immoral acts that a human being, or humanoid anomaly, is capable of. That's right, Dr. Bright has started a YouTube channel. I know I should have given a fair warning before saying something so alarming, but sadly, it's true. And much like every time Dr. Bright gets an idea like this into his crazy little head, the rest of us just have to watch and wait for the inevitable backfire to play itself out. So sit back and enjoy the show, as Dr. Bright becomes the aspiring YouTuber, Mr. Bright. The first video on Mr. Bright's channel is a short audio-visual remix simply titled Clef Music. It begins with Jack Bright sneaking up behind fellow researcher and occasionally respected colleague Dr. Alto Clef with a pepperoni pizza in hand. Dr. Clef appears to be totally unaware of Bright's approach and is utterly shocked when Bright smears the entire pizza, cheese, topping, sauce, and all across his face. The rest of the video is a recording of Clef's angered reaction, set to electronic dance music with certain phrases enhanced through the use of autotune. The top comment from user NotKondraki reads, "Oh, I get it, his name is Alto Clef and he's singing." There's a reply to that same comment from user 3ManyGuns that says, "Jack, delete this!" in all caps. The video received about 1,000 views over 3 days, which wasn't much by the standards of most well-known YouTubers, but it was more than enough encouragement for Mr. Bright to keep the content train a-movin'. But what to do next? After all, autotune remixes hadn't been at the peak of their popularity in almost a decade. Prank videos had also evolved to a level of elaborate absurdity that far surpassed the novelty of a pie to the face. Mr. Bright would have to get creative if he wanted to remain even somewhat relevant in the ever-evolving YouTube algorithm. He eventually decided to release a vlog series titled My Life in Site-19, during which Bright would film his daily routine in one of the most secure Foundation containment sites in existence. Needless to say, the O5 Council had the first video in the series taken down almost immediately via YouTube's copyright strike system. A breach of classified information like that couldn't be allowed to be freely accessed on the internet, even if the total views on the video at the time of the takedown had barely cracked 300. Jack realized his channel was going nowhere fast, as he only had around 10 subscribers and most of them were members of the research team that he had personally told to subscribe. He had to find a way to bring the numbers up without getting in further trouble with the O5 Council. That's when it hit him. He'd conceal his identity with some kind of cartoon avatar, or as they were sometimes known in the YouTube world, a rantsona. Maybe someone that sorta looked like him, but was abstract enough that nobody would know there was any ties between his channel and the Foundation. So he drew up a few sketches, and eventually settled on a design for his rantsona that captured his personality and could be placed on screen whenever he didn't want to appear on camera. It was an unfortunate wake-up call when Mr. Bright found out that not only were Caucasian men with brown hair far from uncommon in the world of YouTuber rantsonas, a fair amount of them also sported glasses. There was at least one other rantsona that wore a lab coat just like his own. Before long, Mr. Bright was receiving a ton of comments comparing him to these other creators, saying that he was both a ripoff and a trend chaser. Mr. Bright couldn't believe it. All that work to fit in among the rantsonas, only to wind up being called generic. But he was nothing if not resourceful, and the researcher turned YouTuber realized he could use this turn of events to his advantage. He released his next video titled "Why I'm leaving this community." While he never specified what community he was leaving or any specific grievance towards another YouTuber, Mr. Bright did spend a lot of time talking about the YouTube terms of service and how making the like to dislike bar invisible was causing him undue stress that had required him to distance himself from making videos for a while. He ended the video by firmly stating enough was enough and that he wouldn't take it anymore, again never specifying what it was. The video got 17,000 views in the first 2 days since its upload, and the comments were filled with users applauding Mr. Bright for his bravery and apparent ability to speak his mind. Overnight, his subscribers grew to 500, and countless comments continued to pour in showing support for the nebulous cause that Mr. Bright now stood for. Now this was the response Mr. Bright had been looking for, and he planned to grow his audience even further by playing into the vague anti-establishment angle that his previous video had suggested. He appeared in front of the camera himself in the video "YouTube doesn't want you to see this," this time eschewing all Foundation apparel and filming against a green-screened background of an absurdly large kitchen with spotless white cabinets. The kitchen was, of course, a computer-generated image Mr. Bright had devised to show that he was successful and wealthy, but also casual and down-to-earth. Over the course of the video, Mr. Bright insisted that some unnamed higher-ups at YouTube were trying to silence him, and that nearly every video he made was allegedly being demonetized. This claim was made despite the fact that Mr. Bright was actually not yet able to become a member of YouTube's partner program, because he hadn't met the subscriber threshold to start earning ad revenue. Still, he was certain that centering himself in controversy would be a surefire way to gain more subscribers. However, he was proven very wrong. Within hours of the video's release, the commenters were tearing Mr. Bright apart, calling him a liar and a fake. Like a pack of tiny amateur detectives, Mr. Bright's audience turned on him, and his reputation began to turn sour. Response videos came out later in the week, bashing Mr. Bright's YouTube channel and accusing him, rightfully so, of spreading misinformation. This was perhaps the biggest setback yet. Though the channel had grown a bit as he had hoped, the small fanbase surrounding it had turned incredibly defensive. Every comment section on a video talking about Mr. Bright was a war zone between self-proclaimed Bright stans and anyone unlucky enough to anger them. The worst part was, Mr. Bright himself had no idea what the arguments were even about at this point. He wasn't sure what he said or did that had caused such a polarized reaction. He tried to win the audience back with a few more Dr. Clef prank videos, but it was no use. Clef had gotten wise to Bright's YouTube plans, and whenever he was on screen, he would speak with so much profanity that the audio would become basically unusable. Additionally, he would fire several of his guns into the air in a wild and dangerous fashion. These factors meant that Jack had to shelve pretty much every video involving Clef, and the ones that he was able to edit all the swears and gunshots out of were borderline incomprehensible. It was clear enough that the Mr. Bright brand was on its way out, and Dr. Bright had to make peace with that. He had essentially 3 options available to him. Number 1, rebrand and hope that the previous audience forgets about the controversy surrounding the channel. Number 2, start an entirely new YouTube channel, as if nothing had ever happened. Or number 3, give up on being a YouTuber entirely. Option number 3 certainly wasn't going to happen, and to commit to option 2 would mean losing the subscribers and views he had already gained. So really only the prospect of a total rebrand could make any of this seemingly futile struggle worthwhile. It had to be option 1. In order for this to work, Dr. Bright had to choose a new form of content that was so low effort that he couldn't possibly be perceived as bad at it. He had been watching a number of YouTube videos for research, and eventually, he decided that reaction content was the ideal way to make a bunch of videos without having to spend too much time on each individual one. All he had to do was wait for other creators to make the content, and he would record his unscripted reactions. He could potentially do this all day, provided he continued to supply himself with other YouTube videos. Of course, there was a slight issue of how he would have to present himself in these videos. His face was already somewhat known in the community at large, and his now all but discarded Ransona would cause similar problems. Then, Dr. Bright was struck with another epiphany. During a late-night session of obsessive content research, which had regretfully been taking the place of the actual SCP research he was supposed to be doing, Dr. Bright fell asleep on his desk with the autoplay feature on. He awoke several hours later to hear the sounds of a virtual YouTuber, or VTuber, reacting to content the same way he was hoping to do on his channel. A VTuber rig, of course! Dr. Bright thought to himself. The answer had been right in front of him. By rigging his body movements to a 3D animated character, he would have a baseline level of anonymity and the capacity to realistically translate his reactions into the digital realm. This was genius. His channel would soar into popularity once he created an appealing virtual character to embody himself. Goodbye, Mr. Bright, and hello, VTuber Bright. But of course, he had to design the avatar himself, acquire the correct software, and learn how to utilize all of it before stepping once again into a world of comparisons to similar content. On second thought, this was not going to be anywhere near as easy as Dr. Bright initially thought it would be. Perhaps there was no easy ways to get views on YouTube, and obtaining positive success and notoriety on the platform wasn't something that had a simple, clear-cut answer. Maybe this latest venture had taught Dr. Bright that being himself and focusing on his work was, he didn't learn anything like that. He just decided to take a big shortcut through all the real hard work that goes into becoming a VTuber. Because when Dr. Bright is faced with a problem that can't be overcome through non-anomalous means, he finds the right SCP for the job and solves it the supposedly easy way, with the quote, supposedly doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence. In the case of his current VTuber aspirations, Dr. Bright enlisted the help of SCP-1471 Mal-O. The skull-faced SCP already dwelled inside of virtual space, and though it was perhaps just a coincidence based on the specific VTuber Dr. Bright had stumbled upon, it seemed that humanoid wolves had been proven to be quite popular with the typical VTuber audience. Besides, Dr. Bright wasn't aware of the, sort of people who were always eager to join SCP-1471's fan club. Research team. With only a few minor modifications to its programming, Mal-O was able to perform all the essential functions of a VTuber rig. Dr. Bright would move his arms or head in the meat space, and Mal-O would mimic the movements like it was some kind of shared game between the two. Since SCP-1471 didn't have a voice of its own, Dr. Bright provided a very spiritual vocal performance through his own microphone. After a few test runs, the dynamic duo of SCP and researcher had succeeded in becoming one complete VTuber. His initial plans to become a popular and well-respected YouTuber may have failed, and the original channel name of Mr. Bright soon faded from the internet's collective memory. But Dr. Bright's determination to keep on grinding and adapt to new forms of content was something that any up-and-coming creator could find inspiring. That is, unless they too had let countless hours of important research on dangerous anomalies fall to the wayside in pursuit of internet fame. If that is the case, maybe what is best for some would-be YouTubers to not leave their day jobs so soon, especially not when the lives of millions hang in the balance. Now go check out SCP-963. What would you do if you were immortal like Dr. Jack Bright? And can Dr. Bright defeat billionaire Jeff Bezos? For more classic Dr. Bright adventures.